Yeah, started. Okay, why there is a cast exception? Okay, the cast exception when using the instance of. Okay, when there is an when there is when you are using the instance of operator, even then you are getting the cast exception, then you might be doing like this. Okay, then you might be doing like this. Yes, global instance of you, maybe you are doing it here instead of lab assistant and student, you are maybe somewhere you are doing yes global instance of what is that, teacher class. Or can you just ping me the code? Okay, that it will also do. Okay, fine. Ping me the code. Okay, the what I'm trying to say is, if at all you use yes global instance of what is that, teacher is the parent class for both, right? If you use it like that, it will always give you true. Okay, and you, okay, we'll see that. Okay, let's first see what code Srinath is talking about. Because any child is always the instance of its parent. Otherwise, in all other cases, instance of operator should not give you any exception, class cast exception. And Mita, you also understood, right, what is class cast exception? We had to handle uninterrupted exception. Uninterrupted exception, that is a checked exception, guys. I mean, uninterrupted exception. 1 minute. Did you use any thread.sleep or something? Okay, thread.sleep. But where we used it? Not here, right? Not in not in yesterday. Okay. Another example that I will tell you. That is different. Okay, but I thought you are getting cast class cast exception. Okay, no issues. No, just sorry, you're not okay. But I have not taken exceptions for you guys, right? Exception handling. Did I teach you guys exception handling? So I'm yet to take yet to, right? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay. Here, okay, and this particular code, what Srinath pinged me, this is giving you class cast exception, Srinath. Okay, no, you have to ping me whether you are checking that instance of. Is this inside a? Is this code what you are pinged me? Is it inside a if block?
Vishal, actually, my doubt is uh, I've used instance of, but it's working fine for instance of. I just confused actually saying the doubt. Why is that a cast exception coming here on this particular
Okay,
code.
class exception is coming. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so how
When
many
using
class?
instance of, it's working fine actually. As you said yesterday, using if condition,
Okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
that worked fine.
Okay, okay. Just a minute. And the same
Okay.
example we did in the class, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's again.
okay, okay. Let me just search and get it. Yeah, maybe this
Okay.
is the code. Okay, and this is not inside the if condition. This particular code, correct? Whatever you ping me. Okay, fine. Say, uh, say so. I'll remove this if condition. Okay, if condition is not there. Okay, and now you checking this instance of operator, it doesn't make sense because whatever result comes, you are not making use of that result. Okay, so let me just you comment it or not don't comment it, but it will not have any effect. Okay, so what happens is say teacher is the parent class, correct? And say first time just a minute. Okay, teacher is the parent class and lab assistant is a child class. Okay, and say only this much code is there. Say it's downcasted and this one. Okay, now say first you are passing the student. Okay, first when you are passing the student. Okay, and you are passing the student object as it is. Okay, when I say as it is, you are when I say as it is, just a minute. Okay, you are creating a student object. Okay, and you are passing it to this method. Which method? Process object method. But in the process object method, what is happening? Say this is the student object. You are passing into process object method. Process object method, it is getting stored in a variable called s global, which is of type teacher. So it's what happens is teacher is a parent class. Inside the parent class, this particular object will be there. Okay, like not inside that parent class, it's kind of a wrapper class. Okay, it's like now it looks like a parent class, that is teacher class, but inside the same student class is there, same student class is here, but it looks like a what is that, parent class. Okay, now downcasting means, say you want to downcast it to, or say forget about downcast. If you say I want to cast whatever this object is, okay, whatever that you are seeing here, whatever s global is, okay, s global, okay, s global, if you want to cast into student, okay, forget about downcasting, say casting, okay, student, then student object, okay, then it means that student object only will have the same size as that of this particular size, and this size and this size will be same. Okay, so you can definitely put it in the student class. Okay, because even though it looks like s global looks like a parent class, but it is not actually the parent class. All this thing is empty. Okay, what I'm trying to say is all these things, right? Whatever you are seeing here, this one, this one, this one, all this is empty. Only inside, only student class is there, that is here, okay, in this. So you can definitely put it into one more variable of type student. Okay, this is absolutely fine because this is of the same size. This inside whatever is the same size, and this is also the same size. Okay, this is all works fine. But the problem arises when, say, this is not the story. Okay, this is not how it happens. Say problem arises when, say this is, 1 minute. Okay, this is what case, you are passing this student object into this process my object. This is the case. Any doubt in this particular case? Anyone? No? Okay. Now let me take the second example. What is the second example is, second example, what I'm doing, I'm creating a teacher class. Okay, teacher, creating the teacher class. So teacher class, when you talk about, it will be a bigger object. Okay, bigger object, and it is not like some, okay, teacher class object I'm creating. Okay, and I'm passing this teacher class object into process object. Again, it goes inside one more variable called teacher. So it is not like, it is it is not like a wrapping here now. Okay, the same size variable, teacher variable, it will be stored again inside this method, guys. Okay, nothing like something in some, nothing like the first case. Okay, the same size. Okay, now here it is teacher, here also it is teacher. Nothing like, inside this, it is just looks like a teacher, and inside some small this one is there. It's not like that. Okay, now what happens is, this is a teacher and this is also a teacher. Okay, you cannot cast him into, now if you try to do this, try to cast him into the student class object. Okay, what happens is, student class object, what it is, reference variable will be of student class. This is of very small thing. Okay, and now problem is, you cannot go ahead and store this a bigger object. Okay, store this bigger object into a smaller class reference variable. Okay, so smaller class reference variable, and that is the only thing which is happening. Okay, so this is now what you are doing on line number 25. You are trying to store it in a smaller class reference variable, and that is the only time when it will give you the class cast exception, because it's actually a bigger object, guys, and you cannot store it in small object. That is the only reason, okay, which will give you the class cast exception. Okay, that is all about it, guys. Okay, but if at all it is a wrapper type, like it's small inside student only, there this all this is empty space, and then you are passing it here also the same thing then you can cast it. Okay, then you can just say only get me this one out of it, then you can do it. But if it is a bigger object, that is a parent class, what we studied, you cannot store the parent class reference variable into the child class. Okay, we studied something like this. You cannot say student s equal to new of teacher, because teacher is of parent class. We cannot do something like that. This is what we studied, guys. Okay, the same concept here as well. Okay, any other doubt? Okay, so that's the reason it will give you the class cast exception. Okay, and always remember, when we are using that instance of, no, what we did, yes, global, yes, global instance of, yes, global instance of, just a minute, instance of student. If at all you want to, sorry, see, if at all you want to convert it into a student class, no, you have to make sure, casting into student class, you have to check if it is an instance of the student class. Okay, that is one more thing which is important. You should not say S global is an instance of teacher class when you want to downcast it into student. You just specifically check for student. Okay, that is what I'm saying you. Okay, so what is happening is, this one I did not tell you other day, and I do not wanted to tell as well, because say I am passing a lab assistant here. Okay, lab assistant. So what happens is, if I run this, no, now lab assistants, see, yes, global instance of teacher, if I do now, what happens? See, it will give you class cast exception. So because all child class or any class, okay, it's always the instance of teacher class. Okay, I don't want to go there, okay, because it will confuse a little more. Okay, but what you need to understand is, if at all you want to cast it into student class, before casting you check whether it is of type student class. You don't compare it with its parent class. Parent class, if you check any object that you create, no, like teacher class, student class, lab assistant class, and if you say that object is of type teacher, it always give you true, always, because lab assistant, since it's a child of teacher class, it will say true, and student is also a child of teacher class, so student is also is an instance of the teacher class. Okay, so don't use it like this. If you want to cast it into student, always use here student. Okay, that is the thing. Oh, lost the video audio. What about Mita? Okay, but are you guys able to hear me? Okay, Mita can hear me. What about okay, okay, fine, you are able to hear me now, correct? Okay, So what I was saying is, say you are passing the lab assistant here, correct? Lab assistant, okay? And it will be like this: you are passing the lab assistant, and it will be wrapped inside the teacher class variable when you pass it. Now now you are checking here. Yes, global is an instance of a teacher. Okay, yes, global is a global instance of teacher. What do you think? What it will give you? What will be the output of this particular line? Is it will it give you true or false? Yes, global instance of teacher. You guys are able to hear me, or any problem in the network now? True, correct. See, if you, that is what I was trying to tell. Okay, so it will always give you true. Okay, you create an object of, okay, no, the reason is not right. Okay, Srinath, it will give you true. The reason is not right. Okay, uh, the reason is this. For example, say, let me not call this process object. Okay, if I say system.out.println here, okay, on line number 19, if I say LA instance of teacher, if you pass it, it will give you true. Here, are you storing it in a teacher class reference variable? No, right? I mean, I'm not even calling that method. Okay, say what I'm saying is lab assistant LA is new of lab assistant, and I'm just initializing the lab assistant, and I'm just checking if that LA is instance of a teacher. It will give you true, guys, because in Java all the child classes are the instance of its parent class. In Java, all the child classes are the instance of its parent class, guys. Any doubt? No? Okay. So in the same way, if you create an object of the student class like this, okay, and if you type this, call this particular, if S is an instance of, S is instance of teacher, it will always give you true. No matter what, it will always give you true. So when you want to really check the type, you don't say that, whatever, if at all you want to convert it into a student class, you should not say S global is an instance of teacher, okay, which will always give you true. Okay, whatever you're passing into this method, it will always give you true, even if it is of type, whatever you have passed, if it is of type lab assistant, no, this line will still give you true. That is line number 27, that if condition will give you true, because even though you have passed what is that, lab assistant, it is, yes, it is the instance of teacher, and when you try to cast, it will give you cast class exception. So better always, if you want to cast it into student object, always say student. That is what I'm telling. Always use student. Did I confuse you guys by telling this, or it's okay? Or if there is any doubt in this, let me know. It's clear? Mita, any doubt? Feel free, guys. No? Okay. Okay. If there is no doubt, we will be going ahead and seeing, seeing exception handling right now. Okay, just give me 1 minute, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and see the exception handling. Okay. Give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, fine. Now say I have some code like this. That is int x equal to y, sorry, 100 divided by y. Okay. And before that you have int y equal to 20. Okay. Do you see any problem in this particular code, guys? Whatever I have written, do you see any problem? And it is like this. Okay. Every time, say Mita has to come and execute it, and Mita has to change only one thing. Instead of 20, she should give some number, any integer she has to give. Any integer she has to give. Okay. In that case, do you see any problem? And say after that she is writing SYSOVUT, uh, division done, and you are printing say SYSOUT and X. Okay, this is what you're doing. But the problem is, it's fine, guys. Okay, don't worry about what is the result. Okay, result whatever we are giving, say 670, it will give you 0. Okay, 2, it will give you 50. See, it's all fine. But what if Mita during this process, if she gives 0, what will happen, guys, according to you guys? Any idea, guys? The problem here is it will gonna try to calculate 100 divided by 0 and it will result into infinity. Yes, can't divide it by 0. Can't divide it by 0 because it will give you infinity and you cannot store this infinity into x. Okay, but okay, it throws the exception fine, but why this exception is so bad, or why any exception is so bad? The problem with the exception is one thing. Okay, yeah, that's guys. Okay, you said 100% correct. It will give you the exception. It says something Java lang dot arithmetic exception, and divide by 0 something it says. Okay, fine. But what? Okay, what is the problem with exception? So what is the problem, guys, you think? Yes, it won't allow us to execute the code thereafter. Okay, so exception happened at line number 8, line number 9, and line number 10 doesn't get executed, guys. Doesn't get executed. That is the main problem. Your program will come into immediate halt if the exception happens. That is the problem, guys. Okay. So what you can do to avoid this, guys? What you can do to avoid this? That is a question. Okay. All you can do, guys, is handle this exception. Okay, I'm not talking about avoiding this exception. See, there is a difference between avoiding the exception. Okay, when you said here, when you every time you used to check whether if at all you're trying to downcast it, you are checking whether it's a student, that's when you downcast. Here you are trying to avoid the exception. Okay, but there will be some cases, okay, not this kind of cases, this is straightforward, wherein you will not know, okay, in the runtime whether the exception will happen or not. Okay, and there will not be a, you cannot code to avoid the exception. Okay, for sure you cannot code to avoid the exception. In that case, only you can do is handle that particular exception, guys. Only you can do is handle that particular exception. Now, how will you handle a particular exception? How will you handle a particular exception, guys? Simple. It's very simple. You will have to put the entire code into try and something called as catch block. Okay, you have to put the thing in the try block, and in the catch block something, say I'll try it, exception happen. Okay, this is what I'm printing in the catch block. Now let me run this thing, guys. See, now also exception happened, but it printed this, but I wanted it to print what? Division done, and if possible I wanted it to print what? The value of x. Division done is not printed. Okay, instead what happens whenever it is like this is how the try and catch works. Say exception happens at line number 8. After that, none of the line till the immediate catch block gets executed. None of the line till immediate catch block gets executed. Okay. Say exception happens line number 8, line number 9, 10 doesn't get executed. It directly goes to the catch block and it will execute the first line in the catch block. Understood, guys? Any doubt why it gave you this particular output? Anyone? No doubt? Okay. And what if exception doesn't happen? Say you're not trying to divide it by 0. You say divide by 1 or divide by 2. In this case, definitely exception will not happen. So what will happen once this line number 8 gets executed, line number 9 gets executed, line number 10 gets executed, and when there is no exception, the catch block will not be executed at all. The catch block will not be executed when there is no exception. So let's go ahead and quickly check that, guys. Okay. See, division done and it gives you 50. Catch block doesn't get executed. So did you guys understand now when the catch block gets executed and when the catch block doesn't get executed, guys? Both of you? Okay. Fine, guys. But say, and see, you can type anything in the system.out.println. Yes. So the what Srinath is telling is, what if exception happens in the catch block? Okay. Say what you think. Okay. Say I'm doing the same thing here in the catch block. I'm doing the similar thing. Okay. I'm doing the similar thing. Okay. Why to do this? Okay. Let me say x equals to 100 by 0. Okay. Let me directly bring this exception. This is the question from Srinath. Okay, what will happen if you have something like this and exception happens at inside the catch block? Okay, again the same rule appears. Oh, lost the connection. You guys are able to see able to hear now? Now, okay, Meeta can hear. Now it's okay. Okay, fine, fine. So what Srinath is telling is, say on if at all what will happen if the exception happens in the catch block. Again, guys, okay, if the catch block exception happens, okay, it will search is there any try block around surrounding this particular line? There is no try block, right? So according to me, line number 13 will not be executed. Okay, it is like this. When the exception happens at line number 12, it will search is there any catch block. Okay, is there any catch block which who can catch this particular exception? If there is no catch block, it will terminate the program. Okay, shall we check this, guys, quickly? So for that I have to, if the catch block has to be executed, I have to make some exception in the try block. Okay, so let's see. So here the exception will happen, it will go to here. So in effect nothing should be printed on the console except, see, like this. Okay, this is what it is giving you now. But if you have something like this, you can have a try catch block inside a catch block, I think so. Say inner exception. Now if you run this, see, inner exception is getting thrown. Okay, it's getting printed. Did you guys understand this particular thing? Whenever exception happens, no matter where it happens in the try block or catch block, it always search for the catch block. Okay, it just first checks whether am I in try block. Okay, if I am in try block, it searches for the catch block. That's it, guys. Okay, any doubt, guys? Anybody? No doubt. Okay, just a minute, guys. Okay, this is about the try catch. And see, you can print anything in the system.out.println, but the most of the times you will see they are printing E, so that they will know what kind of exception happened. Okay, what kind of exception happened. Okay, say it is giving you arithmetic exception, Java lang arithmetic exception. Okay, if I say, if I print that exception, and some people will do like this also. Okay, some people will also do E dot print stack trace. Okay, exception is a class in Java, by the way. Exception is a class in Java, and there is a method called print stack trace. In this exception class, it will give you the entire stack trace. Okay, what is that stack trace of this particular thing? Means it will just tell you on which line the exception happened, all these things, and what kind of exception. Okay, that is the thing. And what in which particular thing. Okay, which particular method, and which particular class, that class is in which particular what is that package, everything it will give you. It will give you the complete stack trace of that particular exception if you print E dot print stack trace. And if you want to only print what kind of exception, you can say system.out.println E. Okay, it will give you what kind of exception happened. Okay, so that these are the two things which you can understand regarding the exception. Any doubt, guys? Okay, and one more thing I forgot to tell you guys. In inheritance, say I said teacher is the parent class for student class and the lab assistant, right? Now let me ask you this. Who is the parent for teacher class? Who is the parent for teacher class? Did I tell you this, guys? How do you say that user is a parent for the teacher class? Okay, no, it's like this. Okay, there is a class. There are these two classes, and there are these classes. Okay, this is how the hierarchy is. Consider this is your teacher class. Okay, just a minute, guys. Consider this is your teacher class, this is the student class, this is the lab assistant class, and student class extends the teacher class. A lab assistant also extends the teacher class. Then there is something called as high class and hello class. High class extends a student class, hello class extends the student class, and say uh, labs. Okay, labs is a class which extends the lab assistant. Okay, this is how the hierarchy is. You can say for student, teacher is the parent class, lab assistant also, this also, teacher is the parent class. For high class, student is a parent class, hello class, this class is also student is a parent class. And also you know, if you say for high class, teacher class is also a parent class. Okay, it's not direct parent, but indirectly whatever teacher has, that gets extended to student, and that in turn gets extended to high class. So if you say teacher is the uppermost class for the high class, that is also correct, it's not wrong, guys. Okay, if you say teacher, if high class is the child of the teacher class, you can say high class is a child of student class, you can say, but you cannot say high class is a child of, what is that, lab assistant class. Okay, in the same way, this labs class, he is a child of lab assistant, you can say. He is a child of teacher, that is also you can say, but you cannot say labs class is the child of the student. Okay, is there any doubt in this, guys? No doubt. Okay, now my question is, who is the parent for the teacher class? That is the question, guys. Now, to answer your question, for every class in Java, okay, if you say any class in Java, and you don't any mention anything extends after that, by default it extends a class called, this is what your compiler puts, extends object. If you don't put any, if you don't put teacher extends some class, if you don't put, your compiler will put this particular line, that is extends object in any class which doesn't extend any other class. See, I said, say there was, say assume there is a user class, and you say teacher extends user, then your compiler will not put this line. What line? Compiler will not put anything here. But if there is this itself was not there, then the compiler will put this like this, extends, sorry, extends object. Understood, guys? This is what your compiler puts when you don't write extends. Any doubt? No doubt? Or it is confusing? Okay, for me it's confusing. Okay, fine. Okay, say you just create a class. Okay, you just create a class called class A, class A, which is not extending any class. So can you tell me who is the parent class for this class, class A? No parent, correct? No parent. But in Java, there is nothing called as no parent. Okay, in Java, what they are saying is, when a class doesn't have any parent, then its parent is by default a class called class called object. That is what they are saying. In Java, if you don't mention any parent for any class, by default, its parent is a class called object class. What I'm trying to say is, okay, what I'm trying to say is, say if let me put it here, guys. Okay, just a minute. What I'm trying to say is, this class A is there. There is no parent, you are saying, correct? So if I say create ob, okay, and it has main method, okay, it has the main method, you can always say like this: object, okay, o equals to new of object, new of A. Why this is possible? This is possible because when you don't put class A extends anything, then the compiler puts something like behind the scene, it puts extends object. And what is this object, guys? Object is a class in Java, predefined class in Java, which is not, we are not creating this particular class named object. Who creates this class? This class is created by the Oracle itself. Okay. Now, is it somewhat clear, or is there any still more doubts? So in effect, any class, okay. So I had given you this hierarchy, right? Okay. Say this is teacher, I said, this is student, this is lab assistant, this is say S1 class, say S2 class, say this is LA1 class. Okay. I said this is how the hierarchy is, but I said lab assistant 1, LA1, this class is child of lab assistant, and also it's child of teacher class. In the same way, this S2 class is the child of S class and also child of teacher class. And we have not mentioned teacher class extends anything, we just mentioned teacher here, correct? So your compiler will put this particular line, extends object, okay. Your compiler will put this particular line, extends object, okay, behind the scene. So you can very well say that there is one more class called object class, okay, object class, and your teacher class extends this object class. And now you can write something like this. Now you can write object o1 equals to new of teacher. You can write this. This is perfectly fine. Oh, what happened? It's writing it. Okay. Okay, this is perfectly fine. In the same way, you can write object o2 equal to new of student. This is also fine because for all these classes, object is the, you know, the highest class. For any class in Java, any class, okay, you create any class, or Is there any predefined class? Like what class we have seen here? I said exception is a class, correct? Even for this exception class, object class is the parent class, guys. For any class in Java, object is the highest class, guys. Highest class. Any doubt or anything that in the same way you can store anything, guys. Okay, you can say object O3 equals to new of S3 or S2 new of LA1. Anything you can store. Any doubt here? Whatever I have written, guys. Okay, guys. So if at all someone asks you what is the highest class in Java, it's always the object class, guys. Okay, that is what you need to understand. Okay, this is how you can handle the exception. Okay, this is one part of handling the exception. Now say, now say in Java, okay, in Java, there might be some scenarios wherein, you know, there might be some scenarios wherein you have to always print some line. Okay, say you have to always print, you know, I am done with coding. Okay, I'm done with coding. This is what line I have to print. Okay, after after at division 1. Okay, after you do your main task is what here. Say you are trying to divide 100 by some number. Okay, that is the main task. Once you are done with that task, you have to type I am done with the coding. Where will you type this, guys? You have to put this into system.out.println. Where will you put this, guys? And every time you run the program, it should always print this particular line. Where will you put it? Okay, inside the main method, but in this main method, where exactly? Okay, you are saying here, say this is where you want to print, correct? Okay, this can be a valid thing. Okay, a valid answer. Okay, I'm not saying this is a wrong answer. Okay, this is a valid answer. But say previously when you had asked what happens if the exception happens in the catch block, say there is something like some similar, some code like this in the catch block as well. Okay, in that particular scenario, yeah, this line, whatever you said, it was perfect. But there is some code like this, or something you are doing in the catch block, and there is no guarantee that catch block will not give you any exception. In that case, where will you put, guys? Any doubt? Any idea? Mita? No idea? Okay. Now, in this particular scenario, Java has given some important thing for us. Okay, just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Java has given one important thing for us called as finally. Finally block. And if you put any code in finally block, that will be executed, guys. Okay. The first line, okay, and that too I'm saying you, the first line in the finally block will always be executed. Okay, no matter what happens, the first line in the finally block will always be executed. Now if I run this, okay, it will have I'm done with coding. Okay, so no matter if the exception happens here or exception happens here, this one will be printed, guys. Any doubt? Anything? Oh, Mika is saying she's not able to connect. Just a minute, Srinath. I'll just tell her that we are almost done. Okay, so if at all there is something which you want to make sure always it gets executed, then you have to put it in the finally block, guys. Okay, that is the only thing that you have to take care. And finally block is something which always gets executed no matter what. Okay, and now you might be asking, what if you have the exception in the finally block? Okay, and finally block, even if exception happens or exception doesn't happen, finally block gets executed, guys. Okay, that is what I told you to understand. Okay, so what if exception happens in the finally block? It again behaves like the same way. Okay, but only guarantees the first line in the finally block will always and always will be executed. Okay, that is the thing. Now your question is finally block created after the try block? I think yes. Okay, I think yes. Let me try this. Okay, I never tried this particular syntax. Okay, to be frank, just a minute. Okay, this syntax is not working. It is saying, okay, for try block, catch block is expected. Okay, but I think you can, instead of catch block, you can simply put finally block. I believe that is also fine. Okay, say you don't want to have a catch block or something, but whenever exception happens or not, you want to do this, you want to type line number 12 on the console. In that case, you can avoid the catch block, but your if your intention is not to avoid the catch block, then you have to first write the catch block and then write the finally block. Okay, that is the thing. Any other doubt, Srinath? Yeah. Okay. See, Amita is also not able to connect back. She's telling for some reason. Okay. We are done for today. Okay. Anything that you want to ask, you can definitely ask me any question.